Hi Larry, I'd like a wine, a white or a red wine, but I don't like it dry. I just want it a little fruity, just slightly fruity, so it's not so dry. So what wine do you usually normally drink that you say that is just a teeny weeny bit fruity? And they say, oh, Moscato or White Zinfandel. Seriously? Hi, I'm Larry Baker. I am a certified level 2 sommelier and a senior wine and spirit specialist here at ABC Fine Wines and Spirits in beautiful North Miami Beach, Florida. This is a question, because this is the age-old question, even from Kevin Zraly, who is the famous sommelier and Windows in the World and wrote a great wine book, and wine Bible. Every sommelier has dealt with this with consumers because consumers don't know how to express the D or the S word in their palate of what they consider in their palate to describe to somebody to give them the wine they like. They say dry and they really mean fruity. They say sweet and they really mean just a little bit fruit, but I don't want sugary Moscato with 5% alcohol. Or sometimes they say sweet and they really meant something that was a little bit fruity. So before you use the S word, which is the sweet word, to anybody's description, take it out of your language, your vocabulary, so that we can understand better. Just say fruity if you mean fruity. The only time you should use the S word, sweet, is when we're talking dessert wine, which technically Moscato d'Asti is. Moscato, ports, cream sherries, very low alcohol Rieslings, like Spätlese, any dessert wine, that is sweet. Everything else, if you just don't like that dry tannic taste, is fruity. Say soft. I don't like bitterness. I just like soft. But instead of walking around trying 8 different ways to describe it, but yeah, we've had many people when we go to the table, they say, I want the driest white wine that I've ever had, and please tell me before so I can make sure I get this right. What kind of white wine did you have last that your palate considers that it's the driest wine you've ever had, and they will tell you it's Moscato. And you just look and go, wow. So that's why we have to be very careful when we make recommendations. But my assistance to you is to just take the S word, the sweet word, out of your vocabulary and never say it unless you mean it, because us sommeliers are going to go right to the Moscatos, to the Dornfelders, to the Sangrias or whatever that is sweet, really, I think of Christy Norman every time I say the sweet word. Shout out to Christy Norman, sommelier at Spago, Beverly Hills, who's got a great online wine course coming out soon that she's just amazing out there. And she has a t-shirt that I'm waiting for mine, I just ordered, of her confused look when a customer is saying to her, I want a wine that's sweet, a little sweet, but not like sweet. And then she just looks like, because that's how we look. And I like a wine that's sweet, but not sweet, but I can't help but thinking about that. Hi, Christy. But I'm telling you, when somebody describes a wine as sweet, sometimes they just mean fruity. That's 99% of the time, unless they tell you, even use Moscato as a reference. I want something as sweet as Moscato. Because even though your palate may think that's fruity, it'll let us know you really need something, even though you're tasting fruity, that is low alcohol and as much sugar as you can possibly get. Okay? So let me give you some suggestions of wines that we have here, white and red, that are what I call fruity wine, that are not going to be bitter, dry, earthy, or anything like that. Starting off with the white wine here, I have Pinot Gris. But Pinot Gris from Alsace, and that's on the border of France and Germany. Paul Zink, we've talked about their Gewürztraminer before, not their Pinot Gris. Pinot Gris in Italian is Pinot Grigio, but the style of Alsace is so different than anything that you're going to be tasting. It's not tart, it's not crisp and clean. It's got a little bit more fruit. I tasted this wine the other day and it's just gorgeous. On their scale, they have a scale of the sweet being 8 and the dryness being a 1, a bone dry, and this is like a 3. So it's fruity, but it's not anywhere near a dessert level of that wine. So this is organic property, sustainably farmed, Paul Zink. It's $12.99 for a Pinot Gris. It tastes nothing like Italian-style Pinot Grigio, but it's one and the same grade. Also in a white wine from the town of Vouvray, that's in the Loire Valley, a grape called Chenin Blanc. Now, they could be a dry Vouvray, which means a dry Chenin Blanc, but there's also a fruity style, which they say demi-sec or off-dry. That's what Alsatian wine, off-dry, just a fruity, but not like a 5% alcohol wine. This is a demi-sec style from the Cave de Producteurs, one of the best big producers of Chenin Blanc. 100% Chenin Blanc, tastes like peaches and apricot, real fruit-forward wine, refreshing, but no bitterness, no dryness of anything whatsoever. A real good wine for $13.99. We keep it in our cold box, take one home. No extra charge for cold. People ask you that, is it extra if I get it cold? I mean, I guess some places charge for extra wine that is cold. Rosé, most rosés I talk about is our dry rosé, bone dry rosé. But there's an area in the Loire Valley that makes what's called Rosé d'Anjou, is the region in the Loire Valley that this is Les Guériens, a $7.99 bottle that has a rosé that's a little bit off dry, that's a little bit just touch of fruitiness that you would get that will take away the bitterness or the bone dry or the acidity that you may not like in a rosé that is bone dry. $7.99. So that's the region you want to look for if you don't like a bone dry rosé, Rosé d'Anjou. Going on to red wines. Love this wine from third generation winemaker. I love you, Gregory. Primitivo, which is the grape of that is known as Zinfandel in America. This is from Manduria, the heel of the boot, another fine selection of Italian wine importer Nadia Galati. Gregory Perucci is the Pope of Primitivo, or the Pope of Zinfandel, the only non-American on the California board of Zinfandel producers. Painted Town Red, which will eventually say Zinfandel on the new bottling, it's a Primitivo, it's a Zinfandel. And Zinfandel is the grape. If you're drinking any of those wines that say red blends, I'll mention a couple of names, Menage a Trois, Apothic Red, Cupcake Red Velvet. The grape that they're using that Americans like the taste of is that Zinfandel grape. It mostly is the bulk of the grape is red Zinfandel, and there's other grapes blended in it, but the bulk, large percentage is Zinfandel. So why not drink 100% Zinfandel for $8.99? Very fruit forward, beautiful blueberries and cherry fruit here. Smooth as can be. The 2017 vintage is really cool. But remember, Primitivo is red Zinfandel. $8.99 from Estate Bottled Fruit in Manduria, Gregory Perucci, and Feline Winery. Also from Gregory Perucci on the red side, a Narcos. For years and years and years, you've seen me post about this wine. This is all three grapes that they're known for in that region of Manduria. He's been fighting this battle, bucking the establishment of the northern area, the Veneto and those areas, encroaching on his land, protecting his land, and he made a wine with all three grapes. Number one, Primitivo, as we talked about, red Zinfandel, Negro Amaro, which is dark and bitter, and then just to give it a little, take away some of that bitter edge, he adds a little black Malvasia Nera, and that gives it that little pomegranate taste at the end, just a touch of fruitiness that everybody likes. Real silky, $14.99. Love a Narcos. I've never met anybody that doesn't like that wine. And finishing up on the red side. Now this I've talked about. I did a review of this wine before. This is from Bernard Maigret down in the south of France, or Sud de France, right on the Mediterranean. A 100% Merlot, but they don't use any oak in this wine. And I remember when I tasted it, this is just juicy, delicious Merlot, unadulterated, without any oak or any adulteration to make the wine taste oak. No tannins in this wine. It's just really, really fun, juicy Merlot to drink. A $12.99 bottle of wine. Bleu de Mer stands for the Blue Sea within the Mediterranean Sea, and this is down from the south of France, Bernard Maigret. For further information on any of these fruity wines, remember, fruity wine, you can go to abcfws.com or hit me up on my blog right here by entering your email address, and there's many ways to contact me. So remember, like I always say, wine is not for snobs. It's for everyday people like you and me, and for people who want a fruity wine, but don't say the S word.